Greetings, everybody. My name is Tommy the Game Master, and before we leave River City on this channel, we got one more stop to take. Time to look at a remake of an old NES sports game. Time to take a look at River City Sports Challenge on Steam. My thoughts on the game playing through it once is that it's not exactly a great game, but it does have some potential to be fun. This is put it on your wish list and get it on a Steam sale type of game and prepare to refund it if you find out that you don't like it. That said, I think it's a huge improvement over the original. Anyways, let's get to playing it. The story is set up a few months after the events of River City Ransom. After Kunio and Ricky put an end to the Dragon Twins and defeated the evil Yamato and stopped Ryo's school domination of the other high schools in the city. Oh, wait, was that confusing for those of you who only played the American NES version? Let me translate that for you. It's been a few weeks since Alex and Ryan went through River City High School and beat up the evil Simon. Now are we all on the same page here? Good. At any rate, another person named Toto is now in charge of that school's student council, and he wants revenge on Kunio and his high school. So he starts challenging Kunio's whole school and other schools in the city to a wacky sports competition that he is, of course, trying to rig in the background to make sure that Kunio team loses, including throwing bombs around and even poisoning Kunio. Because if you haven't played any of the Japanese Kunio-kun games, they get pretty crazy compared to what our American River City Ransom gave us. Any rate, you play a new character who just entered into Kunio's school and joins the team. And there are a few JRPG tropes into trying to level up your character and balancing them out. But I found using the River City characters that we've already been introduced to far more useful. And I should also caution you that this whole RPG system was not in the original NES game. This is something new that the developers added on. I like the idea, but they could have done a lot more with this, trying to level up and increase your stats. It can be incredibly difficult, and again, when you have Kunio, who is just so OP, why would you ever want to choose your original character? So I found that whole point of the gameplay and the story somewhat useless. Okay, the gameplay is simple enough. It's basically split between 4 wacky sports events. 2 I found extremely enjoyable in my opinion. One is exactly what I would expect from a River City Ransom game, and the other, while I didn't find it as nearly enjoyable in single player, if I was given a few friends and we were together just kind of having fun, I could see myself kind of enjoying it with some buddies. But since I didn't have that, I'm going to just let you know of my single player experience. Let's talk about these events right now. First up is cross country. Basically, this is a really weird cross country race. Basically, the idea is you run through the city, but not in a normal route. You run through people's houses, through yards, on the skyscrapers, and even through sewers. Making it a bit harder is that you can attack people and they can attack you. And this sometimes means things like bombs or pipes appear to beat each other up. If you do run out of energy, you're disqualified and get no points for the race, making you think about whether or not stopping and beating someone up is a good option or not, because eliminating an entire team really does put you ahead of the competition. My big complaint about this particular event is because this was made on the Famicom, the races are now broken onto screens. Now you supposedly get points for coming in first on the screen, but you all start pretty much in the same area on the next screen, meaning finishing first or getting ahead doesn't really matter, because once you reach the screen, you're all going to be reset. I have gotten so close to winning quite a few times, only to get attacked on that final screen and lose the race. It's the equivalent of a blue shell on Mario Kart almost. Also, it's a bit on the long side. While it only takes 6 minutes, it's the only cross-country race, So future races try to cut up the bits and remix them a bit to keep you surprised at least. But once you mastered the screens, there is really little surprise in this. Oh, and make sure you have weapons whenever you go underwater because carrying weapons somehow makes you go faster. I don't understand it, but that's this game's logic. So carry weapons on the underwater segments if you want to go fast. Obstacle course. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as cross country, only you go into some sort of fun house with trampolines, hands, pits, and other things that are trying to kill you. It's a bit more fun than the cross country only because the whole screw with your enemy idea can be done a lot more fully as you can set up ambushes and stuff, but overall it's nothing that much different. I did enjoy it a bit more, but I wouldn't write home about it. Camper ball. Yeah, this one was tough until I figured out that someone on my team's punch stat was through the freaking roof and could attack the ball and do some real damage to it. Like I said, it was a little bit of balance retweaking. I could see this one as being kind of fun to play multiplayer with friends. The idea is to climb to the top of this pole and punch the ball. The team who breaks it wins, but you can interfere with your opponents by beating them while they're on the pole or kicking them off the pole altogether. It's really cutthroat and kind of frustrating, to be honest. Again, playing with humans, I could see this kind of being a fun party game. Battle Royale. This one, to me, was the funnest, and for obvious reasons, it kind of plays a lot more like River City Ransom, only a Battle Royale. Yeah, it's no Street Fighter, but it wasn't meant to be. Basically, in this one, you stage off on a 4-on-4 battle arena using weapons and absurd moves. You have to beat the opponents into the ground. Last one stands wins points for your team. Oftentimes, you can go on for several rounds, so switching out your teammates is important, and keeping your strong ones healthy throughout the competition is necessary to win. Also, Cunha really does excel in the street fighting part of the game, so use him strategically to win. You don't want to tire him out, else he will get KO'd. After each event is over, you get ranked and points are addressed. After all the events are cleared, there are some last minute points rewarded, because why not? Mainly for most MVP or most technical players, along with a few other point decreases if you had a player you didn't use. And then whoever has the most points win, and if that's your team, you continue on with the story. It only takes about 4 or 5 hours to beat the game, which is good because, quite frankly, I wouldn't really want to play it longer on a single player. The game gets a bit on the old side. That said, there are a few events if done in multiplayer that I could see as fun. Okay, I want to really talk about the graphics in this game, and I just love what they did here. I wish they would make a River City Ransom game that looked like this on consoles. First off, they took those old sprites and cleaned them up. They now look really shiny and polished, but they're still the same old 8-bit sprites and animations that I knew and grew up with. Only some slight color additions to make them better looking at HD were used. But the backgrounds, the foregrounds are all now photorealistic and looking new. It's a unique looking game and I love it. Hey, Arc System Works, ever want to make a real River City Ransom game yourself? I would love it if you made it look this way. I like WayForward's approach of doing things, don't get me wrong, but I think this suits you guys better and it just makes for a better game if you did it this way. Certainly better than you trying to imitate WayForward, because this game didn't help you guys out one bit. Yeesh. When it comes to the sound, music, and sound effects, it really is just classic River City Ransom music. A lot of the tunes that I remember from the NES games that I have a nostalgic connection to are here, and it made this game extremely memorable, especially during some of the cutscenes. In the end, I love the music. So supposedly this is the most successful game of the Kunio-kun series when it comes to Japan. I can kind of see it in some ways because of I played this on multiplayer. I could see a few of these events being fun with friends. But for my time and money, I would rather be playing the original River City Ransom or River City Girls. This game is kind of a disappointment and one worth skipping. Again, put it on your wish list, wait for a sale, see if you like it. But if you end up skipping it, you're not skipping much. Well, guys, my trip through River City has come to an end. It was nice to catch up with a childhood franchise, find out what's changed, what stayed the same, and of course, a few bad ideas that I hope don't stick around. I do really recommend getting River City Girls, and Sports Challenge, although not really great, is at least worth trying out once. But Stay Cool Kobayashi is a game to be freaking avoided like the gang he was in the original NES game, The Plague. It is awful. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master thanking you for watching this. I hope to see you guys soon.